Welcome everybody. It's a snowy, cold spring day. It should be a lot warmer by now, but it isn't. That's conditions we're working with. And we're prepping for Easter. I am going to take a stab at making pulled ham. I've made plenty of pulled pork in my Traeger journey, and we're going to smoke a sacrificial ham today, a couple weeks ahead of Easter, just to make sure that everything goes off with a hitch. So follow along. You know, this is a little bit of experimentation. Shouldn't be too difficult, but we're going to give it a shot. So this is where the fun begins. So we're going to start by loading in our pellets. And honestly, this is a hodgepodge of Traeger blend. I'm not really overly concerned at this point, nor convinced that the actual flavor of pellets actually does anything. All right, so with that, we're gonna get it fired up. I want to put her on super smoke mode. All right, so she's fired up, and we're gonna put it on super smoke mode as well, and let it get fired up, and then we'll put on our ham. If you're new to the channel, what we've got to work with is my Traeger Woodridge Pro. I got her right around Father's Day last year, so just under a year of learning how to smoke meat. If you prefer a stick burner, more power to you. Maybe one day, but baby steps. Don't call me a baby. Just a hack of what I use for my pellets. I use these food grade containers, these 5-gallon buckets that you get from Home Depot. So they come with lids that spin on and seal. And then I just throw my pellets in there. I also have a bag of desiccates that I throw in there. Obviously you don't load those in the hopper, but it's a way to cut down on any excess moisture that might get trapped in with your pellets. This is the ham that we're dealing with. What we will not be doing for Easter proper is getting a spiral ham. This is one that we've had in our freezer that is spiral cut, not optimal for when making pulled ham, but we're gonna give it a shot anyways. Again, this is just feeding us tonight, not anything that we have to worry about presenting to our friends and family. So all I did was just took it out of the package, drained out any of the excess juice in there, and then I sprinkled it properly with the Honey Hog barbecue. They say to use something a little bit more sugary because the salt in the cure doesn't need any additional salt. So about 20 minutes ago, liberally applied, rub all over it, and it's been incorporating and pulling the juices out, so that will help our bark set. We are up the temp, 225 on super smoke mode, and I wish I would have thought about this when I had insulated gloves, but I kind of want to take this top rack off. All right, so I've got the top rack out of the way. We're at 225 and losing temperature because of that, but I've got 2 temperature probes in. We're gonna let this leak a little bit. And then I like to keep her on 1 grate so that I'm not having to clean 2. And this is what we're working with. Now, the lid's up, it's not cooking, so here we go. I use these Inkbird thermometers. I got them off of TikTok, the 4-count. I might have spent $60 or $70. I can't imagine that the ones that cost upwards of $400 or $500 are any better. I've used these things since I got this Traeger, and they're phenomenal. Never had an issue with them lasting or dying. They seem pretty accurate, and yeah, look it up, Inkbird. And again, I got them from the TikTok shop. Another accessory that I really like are these gator tail ramps. I use them to level out the grill even if the grill is slightly off level. With any item meat that you smoke, if it tips from front to back, all of your grease is going to find its way to the back of the grill and make it extra messy. So having it perfectly level really helps with having all of the grease and juices drop straight down into the drip pan. All right, she's on. We're gonna wait until temp probes get to around 160, then we'll wrap and bring it up to around 200, 205 degrees so we can get that pull apart texture to it. Again, this is a pre-cooked ham. You can just get it to temperature and eat it like any normal ham baked in the oven, but we are incorporating that wood-fired taste that we like, and getting it up to that 200 degrees makes it pull apart. So again, we've done pulled pork many times. We're gonna give pulled ham a try. 3.5 hours in, let's take a look to see how we're doing. I did increase the temperature to 275 about an hour and a half ago. Super smoke isn't necessarily needed beyond an hour or two. If anything, it just takes forever to get up to temperature. So I did increase the temp. My first time lifting the hood. Looks pretty good. Looks like that bark is coming along and setting. See some of the spirals are lifting up, which I guess makes sense, which is why when we purchase our game time hams, we'll not be getting the pre-cut spirals. So take a look at the temperature gauges. We are at 117 and 109 respectively. 109 is in the top, which I don't think is cut as much as the 117 on the side. That just means heat's penetrating through those spiral cuts. So I'm gonna keep it at 275 and let her ride, and then wrap her around 160 degrees. All right, we're back. We are about 5.5 hours into the cook. The temperature probes just got to around 160 degrees. She's got a nice bark. We're going to put her in a pan, put some glaze over top of it, and wrap it until we get to 200. All right, so we're gonna go. I'm actually just gonna take this pan, put it right next to her on the clean part of the grill. So avoid any spillage. Try to work my hands right underneath. And holy hell, maybe we learned for next time that they put some sort of a bone plug on the bottom of it. I did not see that before I put it in. Shouldn't make a difference. That's right on the bottom. That's just what protects the bone. All right, here's what we're dealing with. Looks pretty good. So I'm gonna pour in some pineapple juice. Got a second can here. Then we made a glaze. We didn't want to use the packet that came in with it. This is a homemade glaze that's got mostly brown sugar, nutmeg, and some other spices. The one that came with it had a lot of cinnamon and just junk that we didn't want to have to deal with. So this is a homemade glaze. Just pour all over it right there. Then I'm just going to pour a little bit more water in there. I'm not going to pour the water over top of the ham itself, but just give it a little bit more moisture to cover the bottom of the pan. And I'll just do a third one over the top for good measure. Alrighty, it's time to put her back on. I am going to put some foil underneath, just so all of the gunk that's there from the ham doesn't make the bottom of our pan dirty. Not that it matters. So we've got it wrapped and covered. And because we are getting closer to dinner time, I'm going to crank this up to 325. So we can push through to about 200 to 205 internal. Fast forward to 8 o'clock. It's been about 7.5 hours in total. My temperature probes are showing to temperature. That's why they are yelling at me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand probe and just stick it through just to make sure it's probe tender. Yeah, it's going right through. No resistance and temping out over 200 degrees. So we are in good shape as it continues to yell at me. So I've got the grill in shutdown mode and we're gonna take it in, let it rest a little bit, and then pull it apart, see if it worked out like we expected. Pro tip, the thing that I do every time that I feel like is the secret, not really a secret, everybody tells you to, but it's the key, is letting it sit. So we've hit our goal temperature, we're at probe tender, and we timed it so that all of the other things are gonna take about a good half hour to 45 minutes before it's completed. So it's gonna let our ham sit and reabsorb all of those juices and the glaze and all of the stuff that we put in with it. So that's where it's gonna reabsorb that and make it a lot more tender and juicy the way that we try to get it to. So always leave time for resting. The longer the better, so long as it stays above that 140 degree danger zone. You don't want it to go below that, so whether you keep it in a cooler or in an oven, keep a probe in it just to make sure that it stays over 140 degrees. And then as long as you can ride that out, the better results I've at least seen personally. So you do you. That's at least what's worked for me. After about a half hour of letting it rest, here's the moment of truth. That is some great bark. If I do say so myself. And we'll start to pull it apart. I do fear that it's going to be kind of rubbery where the rings are. So it could be deep until we see the fall off the bone. So here's the bone right here. You see all of the spirals. I don't know if this is the desired result. Possibly where it's not as cut and spiraled. Yeah, each one of these may be a little bit too I don't want to say rubbery. I would have to eat into it first to see. Now, I think a spiral ham is perfect if you just heat it up in a Traeger, 140, 150 degrees. Get that smoke on it. But pulling it all the way up to 200 degrees might not do well with the spiral part of it. Now this is better. This is off the bone, a little bit less exposed. Vast difference between one of the spiral slices. It's still really good. It's just a little bit overdone and doesn't have the juiciness that the other contained unexposed pieces. So this was more towards the center, not spiral cut, and it does look like pulled pork. So this is the, I would say, the desired result versus the undesirable piece. It's still good. People would eat it and enjoy it, but your best results are with a non-spiral cut ham if you're going to go the pulled ham route. So as we dissect through here, all of the big chunks not quite fall off the bone, may have gone too fast from 150, 160 to 200, but it is pretty tender. Even the spiral parts really allowed smoke absorption in the heat, but not the right product for having pulled ham. In summary, don't get a spiral ham if you want to have pulled ham. If you want to smoke a spiraled ham, just stop at 140. Once it's the temperature, finish cutting it through. People will enjoy it. Again, we had this ham in our freezer for about 1.5 years, so we wanted to use it and thought we would give it a try. So it's pretty obvious that a cut ham is going to overcook when taking it to a normal temperature to make pulled pork or pulled ham. So we've validated that pretty obvious theory. So no going into Easter. If you want to have pulled ham, get an uncut one. Even if it is cured already, it'll work fine. From what we've seen here, the cut pieces are edible. They're a little bit overdone. The uncut pieces are pretty good. So come game time, come Easter, I think we'll be in good shape. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for following along. Hope you learned something. We'll see you in the next one.